Alright, so guys, let's try to look at biology. So I have 10 multiple choice questions and one structure question. So the first question is saying, which cell structure is present in a red blood cell? So we want to say that the red blood cell is the one which carries oxygen throughout the body, or which transport oxygen to the body tissues for respiration. So now, one thing that I need to put in mind is that if I draw the structure of the red blood cell, you're going to find that at the center here is going to be biconcave. So this one is called biconcave. Now, one thing that you need to know is that let me just write this one here. This one is called biconcave. That is where now the hemoglobin is. You're going to find that the red blood cell is going to lack the nucleus, so it doesn't have the nucleus. Of course, the vacuole is found in the plant cell, but it's also found in animal cells, but in small amount. So it is insignificant. Then when it comes to the cell wall, this one is also present in plants. So therefore, cell membrane is going to present in the red blood cell. So our answer is going to be A. Then when it comes to question 2, which statement is correct for most enzymes within organisms? Alright, so enzymes, for option A, they are produced inside cells and controls metabolic activities of the target organs. So the only chemical which controls the activity of target organs, they are hormones. So this one is going to be cancelled out. Then as for B, they are produced inside the cells and controls metabolic activities within the cell. So of course, enzymes, they are produced by different organs. They are not produced inside, they are produced outside. So the GIT is considered to be outside because it is just a continuous tube which starts from the mouth. So it starts from the mouth and goes up to the anus. So this one here is not considered to be part of the inside of the body. It's outside the body. So whatever chemicals which are going to be secreted in the GIT, they are not going to be considered as part of the inside of the cell. So it is outside the cell. So even this one I'm going to cancel it. Then also C is saying produce outside cells. Of course, they are produced outside the cells, and what does they control? They control metabolic activities of the target organs. So I've said that what controls the target organs? They are hormones. Because, for example, if I say the adrenaline, they are produced by the adrenal gland, and they have effect on the target organs. Like for example, the heart, to increase the heart rate. So definitely for D saying produce outside the cells and controls metabolic activities within the cell. So it's going to be our answer. So the answer here is going to be D. And let's see the next question. Right, so this is our next question, and it is saying the diagram shows a cross section of a leaf. So we have part structure X, which is called the palisade cell. Of course, let me not say the palisade cell. This one is called the chloroplast. We can say the chlorophyll. So it's called the chloroplast or the chlorophyll. And then the entire thing here is called the palisade tissue, including all these. They are called the palisade tissues. Alright, so in the chloroplast, that is where now the process of photosynthesis takes place. Then when it comes to this Z here, Z is presenting the fascicular system, the transportation in plants. So here, that is where now you are going to find the xylem and the phloem on part of Y, transportation system. Then for Z, that is where now the gaseous exchange takes place. So here, that is where now we are going to have the guard cells. So this one here and this one here, these two, they are guard cells. That is where now the gaseous exchange takes place. So let's see what this question has. So it is saying, in which structures do photosynthesis and gas exchange occurs? Alright, so let's see. So here we have X, that is for photosynthesis. Of course, X is representing the chloroplast. Then what about the gaseous exchange? The gaseous exchange is just Z. As you can see here, Z is presenting the stomata pore where the gaseous exchange takes place, and between the stomata pore, that is where now you're going to find the gas cells. So meaning to say the answer here is going to be what? It's going to be B. So that is our answer. Then as for question 4 is saying after starch is ingested. So intake of ingestion, just the intake of the food into the buccal cavity, which is the mouth. So now it is saying after starch is ingested, in which order do these processes occur? So once food is ingested, the second thing is going to be the digestion, and this digestion starts where? In the mouth. So meaning what we are going to consider here is digestion. So meaning the first part for A and the second part for B, we're going to eliminate them because they are not having digestion at the first. So of course here we're going to have digestion. Then the second one, after digestion, the enzymes, they are going to act upon starch, which is the enzyme which is going to be amylase, that is in the mouth, which is going to digest also, and also the teeth, they are going to digest, which is going to fall under mechanical digestion. Whereas for enzymes, they are going to fall under chemical digestion. Once the food has been digested, what follows next is the absorption. Once they have been absorbed into the bloodstream, what follows next is the assimilation. So when you talk of assimilation, this is the usage of the digested food or incorporation of digested food into the alimentary canal or body tissues. So how the digested food are going to be used, that is assimilation. So therefore the answer here is going to be C. Then for question 5, it's saying what is the pathway of diffusion of carbon dioxide during gaseous exchange in the lungs? So here we're talking about carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is produced after respiration has occurred. So meaning it is coming from the body tissues and it is going to be transported by blood, is it? So here it is going to be transported by blood. Let me just do this. It's going to be transported by blood, isn't it? And once it is coming from the blood, so let me just write the cascade. So here we're going to have blood. It's going to be transported by blood, and in this way here, you're going to find that let me just do this. Once it is being transported by blood, you're going to find that it is going to reach the capillaries, right? So on the lungs, there are capillaries which helps in gaseous exchange, that is taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. So what follows next are the capillaries. We can just say the capillary wall. Then after the capillary wall, what follows next is the alveolar wall, and the last thing is the alveolus. So in this case here, what do we have? So for the first part, we have the alveolus wall, no, so this one here should be eliminated. Second part, we have blood, of course we have blood here. The capillary wall, we have the capillary wall. The next one is going to be the alveolar wall, and then also the alveolus. So this one is going to be our answer. Let's also see other options. That for C, we have capillary wall, blood, then we have the alveolus, then the alveolar wall. Right. So let's see the next question. So the next question is saying, which definition of respiration is correct? So what is respiration? So is it the breaking down of food substances in the presence of oxygen, or the movement of the lips and the diaphragm? Is this one respiration, or is it the production of lactic acid in muscles during exercise? Or is it the release of energy from glucose in living organisms? So what is your choice here? And of course all these, they are making sense. Even this one is making sense, even this one is making sense, even this one is making sense. Now which one is the answer? So you're going to find that for respiration mostly we focus on the release of energy from glucose. in living cells. All these, they follow once energy is released. Imagine if there is no energy. Is there going to be the movement of lips or the diaphragm? There will be no movement of lips and the diaphragm. So this one is very, very important to know. And this one here for lactic acid, this one is present when there is absence of oxygen. So that one is not considered to be part of the answer. So the answer is D. And let's see question 7. So for question 7, it is saying diagrams X and Y shows sections of a coronary artery. So we have X and Y. So as you can see, we have a part which is thickening of the arterial wall, and then this one is appearing to be a normal artery. So let's see what the question is asking us to do. Alright, so the question is saying which factors could be responsible for the condition shown in the diagram Y. Is it the age? Is it the exercise? Is it the eye fiber diet? Is it smoking? Is it stress? So as you can see here, this one here, there is thickening of the walls of the artery, specifically the coronary artery, and this one here can be caused by smoking. So smoking should be the first one, and this one is very, very important to know. Then apart from that one, stress can also bring about the thickening of the coronary artery. So we have 4 and 5. And then apart from that one, we also have the aging. So as you are growing, or as you grow old, you're going to find that most of the old people, they don't do exercise. They like sitting, in fact, they don't do exercise, and in that way, the fats in the coronary artery, they accumulate, thereby causing the thickening of the walls of the coronary artery. So age, smoking, and stress, they are going to cause the thickening of the walls of the coronary artery. So therefore, the answer here is going to be B, 1, 4, and 5. So that is very, very important to understand. So let's see the second question. So the second question is saying which part of the body is most damaged by smoking? Is it the sensitivity of tissues of the nose or the digestive system? This one here, we need to remove it. Or the gaseous exchange surface of the lungs, or the surface of the eyes. So of course this one, they are damaged but not that much. Or the sensitivity of the nose. So you're going to find that the gaseous exchange surface of the lungs here, they are going to be damaged. So we are going to go for this one here. Of course, even the sensitivity of the tissues of the nose, they are going to be damaged, but the most severe impact is going to be on the gaseous exchange. You're going to find that the cells, they are going to be worn out. They're not going to function well as the normal cells. So therefore, the answer is going to be C. Then as for question 9, which separate parts form part of the central nervous system? So the central nervous system is made up of the brain. Then apart from the brain, it is also made up of the spinal cord. So it's made up of the spinal cord and the brain. These are only two things that which makes up the central nervous system. Then on top of the peripheral nervous system is made up of the peripheral nerve fibers and ganglionic fibers. So the central nervous system is made up of the brain, which is the first one, and the central or the spinal cord, which is part 2. So which suggests that the answer here is going to be A. But when you talk of the peripheral nervous system, meaning the answer is just going to be 3, that's all. So that is one thing that we need to understand. And let's see the last question for the multiple choice. Alright, so it is saying the diagram shows a side view of the female reproductive system. So we have part A, which is called the fallopian tube, where the fertilization occurs. And then we have the ovary. So this one here is the fallopian tube. Let me just write it nicely. Alright, so this one here is the fallopian tube or the oviduct. Let me just say the oviduct or the fallopian tube. and this one here is the ovary. Then we have this part here, which is called the cervix. Okay, so this one is called the cervix, and this one is called the uterus. Alright, so the question is saying which row shows the location where implantation happens and the location where the zygotes are formed. Alright, so the implantation occurs in the walls of the uterus, which is 1. So that is where the implantation occurs. So we have this part here, of course. We also have C and D. We don't know what is on C and D, so we can just see what is on C and D. So for the implantation, it occurs in the walls of the uterus. That is one thing that you need to know. Fertilization occurs in the fallopian tube or the oviduct, and the ovaries, they produce the ovum or the eggs. This is the cervix, which is very important during is it the cervix or the vagina? Let me just say, I think this one is supposed to be the cervix, and this one here is the vagina. So we can just say this one is the vagina and this part here is the cervix. So this one is the vagina, which is the passage for the sperms or the semen. So let's see what we have on C and D. So on C and D we have 2 and 1. So of course for the implantation, it should occur on 1. But what about where the zygote is formed? So where the zygote is formed is going to be 2. Right? So that is very, very important to know. So it's going to be 2. So which concludes to say the answer is going to be D. The reason why B is not the answer, but B is the vagina. The vagina, that is where the semen or the sperms passes. Then the last question, which is the structure one, is saying complete the sentences about enzymes by writing appropriate words in the spaces. So enzymes are biological catalysts. They are made up of a special type of protein molecule. So they are made up of special type of a protein molecule. So enzymes, they are usually protein in nature. An example of a human enzyme found in digestive system is so you can just say amylase if you want, or pepsin if you want, trypsin if you want, lipase if you want, and so on. Okay, just say lipase. And one thing that you need to know is that enzymes, they end with a suffix of ASE. This one here is very, very important. Now the area on a chromosome which called for an enzyme is called a dash. So what do we have here? So whenever you hear the word code, so what codes? They are genes. So usually chromosomes, they are made up of genes which codes for a specific protein. And we are saying these enzymes, they are protein in nature. Example is amylase and lipase. Okay. So our answer here is just going to be a gene. A gene is a part of the chromosome which codes for the specific protein. So that is the answer for these ones. So let's answer the last ones, which is for B. This in figure 8.1 shows an incomplete substrate molecule and enzyme which act on it. So let's see. So we have this one here, which is a substrate, and this one here actually is the active site. The active site, that is where now the substrate bind, and the substrate should be complementary to the active site. So that is saying we need to draw in the circle. Okay, saying complete the diagram of the substrate molecule, which is this one here. Right, molecule by drawing in the circle of the substrate. So here what we are going to do, we are going to draw the structure of the substrate, which is going to be similar to the structure of the active site. So it's not going to be accurately, but I'm just drawing according to what I can see here. So this is what the substrate is going to look like. So it should be complementary to the shape of the active site. So as you can see, this one here can bind here, and these two here can bind on this side here. So this is how you're supposed to draw or complete the structure of the substrate. Right, and then for C, it is saying explain why enzymes found in the human body do not function when they are heated to 60 degrees. So usually enzymes, they are functional at 37 degrees, which is the normal body temperature. But if they exceed 37 degrees, you're going to find that they are going to undergo denaturalization. So the reason why they don't function is that I'm going to say because of what? Denaturalization. Then apart from that one, because of denaturalization, can also include something like they don't undergo reversible once they are damaged. So once they are damaged, they don't undergo reversible. That is very, very important to know and to understand. Then apart from that one thing that need to understand is that once they undergo neutralization, they're going to find that they are going to lose the active site. So loss of the active site. So this active site that you can see here, once you exceed, or once the temperature exceeds 37 degrees, the active site is going to be denatured. So loss of the active site. Then the last one, I was saying that irreversible damage. So, or irreversible damage. So what it means here is that once enzymes undergo denaturalization, they are not going to be reversed. That is one thing that you need to understand. So that's the reason why I'm including irreversible, not reversible, but irreversible damage. So they're not going to be reversed. So those are the important things that need to include when they ask you about why they don't function. So that was the last one. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe if you find it useful.